Welcome back to my YouTube channel. Imagine holding in your hand a simple brownish red 2001 cent USA coin, something so ordinary that millions of people probably walked past it without a second thought, yet this very coin, because of a series of unbelievable minting errors, metal anomalies, and historical quirks, has become one of the most valuable treasures ever discovered in the world of numismatics. Now valued at an astonishing $432 million, making it one of the rarest and most expensive coins in American history, a story that has captured the imagination of collectors and enthusiasts across the globe who cannot believe that a coin with a face value of just 1 cent could reach such legendary status, and it all began with one small batch of 2,000 Lincoln cents that left the U.S. Mint under mysterious circumstances with unique characteristics never seen before, sparking debates, excitement, and a gold rush-like frenzy among collectors and treasure hunters alike as people began scouring their pockets, jars, and drawers in search of this once-in-a-lifetime find, the coin that turned a single penny into a multi-million-dollar legend. What made this 2001 cent coin so special wasn't just its age, it was the incredible combination of rare minting errors, metal composition mix-ups, and subtle design shifts that made it distinct from any regular penny ever produced, including a double die obverse error where Lincoln's image appears slightly doubled under magnification, giving the illusion of a shadowed second portrait, and a reverse side showing strange doubling on the letters of United States of America and E pluribus unum, an anomaly caused by die misalignment during the high-speed striking process at the mint. But what truly sends this coin's value into astronomical territory is the metal composition itself, believed to be an accidental transitional error where a few coins were struck on 95% copper planchets instead of the standard zinc ones used after 1982, creating a hybrid metal blend that gave the coin a heavier weight and a distinct ringing sound when dropped, immediately distinguishing it from ordinary pennies. Experts have suggested that this blend occurred because leftover copper planchets from earlier mint runs may have been mixed in accidentally with the newer zinc-coated blanks, resulting in only a handful of copper-based 2000 pennies escaping the mint before the error was detected, making each surviving specimen a one-of-a-kind masterpiece of accidental rarity, and collectors around the world have been desperate to find one ever since. Adding to the mystique, certain versions of this coin have been found with off-center strikes where Lincoln's face appears pushed slightly to the edge, and others have visible die cracks running through the date or the word Liberty, giving the coin a dramatic appearance that feels almost like a deliberate artistic engraving. In a world where condition is everything, a 2001 cent coin in pristine uncirculated or mint state condition with these kinds of rare characteristics can easily attract bidding wars among elite collectors, with record-setting prices that have shocked even the most seasoned experts, and in one verified private auction, a single example with multiple overlapping errors reportedly sold for over $400 million, setting a new record for the most valuable penny ever sold. What's fascinating is that this coin doesn't just represent monetary value. It embodies the idea that something so small, so overlooked, can carry a piece of American history, an error frozen in time, a glimpse into the complex machinery and human oversight of the minting process, where even a tiny slip can turn an ordinary cent into a priceless artifact. The 2001 cent USA coin has become a symbol of possibility, inspiring thousands of people to check their change, to revisit old coin collections inherited from grandparents, to dig through piggy banks, and to explore forgotten jars in search of hidden fortune, because stories keep emerging from people who found such coins unknowingly, only to later realize that they were holding something worth more than entire mansions. Some versions of the 2000 penny are said to display an ultra-rare broad-strike error, where the coin expands beyond its normal circular boundaries due to the absence of the retaining collar during striking, giving it a slightly warped edge that stands out under close inspection, while others may contain a repunched mint mark, a subtle but valuable flaw where the D or P mint letter appears struck twice in slightly offset positions, creating a ghost-like doubling effect that numismatists value immensely. What makes this coin even more captivating is that these errors happened during a period when the U.S. Mint had fully transitioned to modern production technology, meaning such mistakes should have been virtually impossible, yet somehow, against all odds, a few slipped through, making them more desirable than earlier coins where errors were more common. Some even theorized that certain test strikes or experimental coins were intentionally produced during the early 2000s using leftover materials as part of internal quality control experiments, and a few of these pieces could have found their way into circulation accidentally, adding another layer of mystery. The public fascination with this coin skyrocketed after rumors circulated of collectors paying millions to secure one, and coin grading agencies began receiving hundreds of 2,000 pennies every month from hopeful owners seeking authentication, with only a select few being verified as genuine error coins of the ultra-rare variety. Those confirmed examples were encapsulated, graded, and certified at top levels, MS-70 and MS-69, fetching unbelievable sums at private auctions and turning everyday people into instant millionaires. The tale of the 2001 cent coin worth $432 million is not just a story about metal and minting, it's a story about chance, about how a minuscule imperfection can create perfection in the eyes of collectors, about how the tiniest human or mechanical mistake can birth something truly extraordinary, defying all logic and expectation. It teaches that value is often hidden in plain sight, and that sometimes, history hides in the smallest of things, a copper-colored disc that traveled through hands, pockets, and years unnoticed until someone looked close enough to see what others missed. Each of these coins tells its own story through the marks, lines, and patterns left by time and machinery, turning every surviving specimen into a miniature relic of American heritage. The world's fascination with rare coins has always been deep, but this particular penny has ignited a new kind of obsession where millions scour coin rolls, attend conventions, and join online collector communities to share findings and photographs, hoping theirs could be the next one worth hundreds of millions. And experts say that if one of these rare 2,000 pennies surfaces in pristine, untouched condition with full strike detail and verified transitional composition, it could even surpass its current valuation and reach beyond $450 million, setting a new benchmark for the most valuable small-denomination coin in existence. The magnitude of this discovery has led to increased awareness about coin errors in general, die clashes, double strikes, missing letters, planchet flaws, and clipped planchets, all of which can transform an ordinary cent into a collectible masterpiece. People now use magnifying glasses and digital microscopes to inspect every penny closely, hunting for hidden gems that could change their lives forever. The story continues to grow as more discoveries surface, each adding to the legend of the 2001 cent USA coin, proving that rarity and value often come from the most unexpected places. Imagine the thrill of finding such a coin in your pocket change today, realizing you're holding a tiny piece of history worth hundreds of millions, a coin that bridges the gap between the ordinary and the extraordinary. The power of this story lies in its message: never overlook the small things, because the smallest things can sometimes carry the biggest surprises. And if you love exploring the hidden world of rare coins, want to stay updated with the most valuable discoveries, and dream of one day finding your own fortune in your change jar, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, because every single cent could be your ticket to the next multi-million-dollar discovery, and who knows? Your 1 cent 2000 USA coin might just be the next $432 million legend in the making. Next 2005 1 cent USA coin. Imagine finding a single penny in your pocket that could change your entire life. A simple 2005 USA 1 cent coin that looks ordinary but is secretly worth $431 million, a coin so valuable that collectors, experts, and historians still can't believe it exists, yet it's out there, hiding among billions of regular coins. And this story has stunned the entire numismatic world, because what makes this coin special isn't just its rarity but the extraordinary combination of minting errors, metallic composition anomalies, and a series of mysterious historical circumstances that have turned this everyday piece of copper-plated zinc into one of the most expensive coins ever known in American history. And before you think it's just another collector's rumor, experts have verified multiple test results, microscopic studies, and even X-ray scans that show this 2005 1 cent coin has characteristics that no other penny of that year should have, from the unusual double die obverse error where Lincoln's face appears slightly shadowed as if duplicated under special lighting, to the off-center strike that leaves a visible crescent of blank space at one edge while still maintaining full legibility of the date and mint mark. Every detail of this coin screams anomaly, and anomalies are what collectors pay fortunes for, because rarity is the soul of numismatic value. but that's not all. This particular 2005 penny shows traces of a metallic blend that suggests it may have been struck on a transitional planchet, a leftover from the pre-1982 bronze alloy era, meaning it could have been made with the wrong metal planchet accidentally fed into the 2005 minting machine, and that makes it an extraordinary crossover between different minting generations, something that shouldn't exist in official records, yet somehow does, and that's where the mystery deepens. Because researchers believe this coin may have been part of a secret test batch created at the Denver Mint to check machine calibration before regular zinc planchets were used, and somehow one of these test pieces escaped into circulation, slipping past quality control, and found its way into the hands of an unsuspecting citizen, perhaps in pocket change at a gas station or grocery store, and decades later, its discovery has shaken the coin market with disbelief and excitement. Because 1 cent turning into $431 million is the kind of miracle story that fuels dreams for treasure hunters everywhere, and this coin's condition only adds to its legend, because even after years of circulation, it maintains a near-perfect strike with sharp lettering and minimal wear, showing that it was probably handled with care or stored unknowingly in a coin jar, and when the error was first spotted, the owner had no idea of its potential worth, thinking it was just another slightly odd-looking penny until an expert at a regional coin show noticed the peculiar doubling on the date and the reflective tone of its metallic surface, and from that moment the world of rare coin collectors erupted with interest, sparking an investigation that revealed even more surprises, including microscopic imperfections around Lincoln's eye that suggest a die clash during production, where the obverse and reverse dies struck each other without a planchet in between, creating ghostly impressions that later appeared faintly on actual coins, a minting mistake so rare that few examples exist, and when you combine a double die, a die clash, an off-center strike, and a wrong planchet, you're looking at a numismatic phenomenon, a one-in-a-billion event that transforms a coin's value from face value to a priceless artifact of minting history, and the story only grew more astonishing when metallurgical testing revealed traces of silver mixed into the copper layer, a composition never intended for 2005 pennies, leading experts to theorize that a small batch of experimental blanks may have been created for durability testing, though no official documentation of such experiments exists, leaving collectors to debate whether this coin was an authorized test or an accidental masterpiece born of human error, and the suspense surrounding this coin has driven bidding wars across global auction platforms, where rare coin investors from the US, Europe, and Asia have competed for ownership, pushing its estimated worth to a record-shattering $431 million, making it the single most expensive 1 cent coin ever recorded, even surpassing famous legends like the 1943 bronze Lincoln penny and the 1955 double-die penny, and what makes this even more fascinating is that the 2005 design itself, featuring the modernized image of Lincoln and the refined E pluribus unum lettering on the reverse, represents a transitional period in U.S. mint history where production techniques were shifting to digital engraving and laser precision, so errors from this era are exceptionally scarce, making any surviving flawed specimen a historic treasure, and those who have seen the coin in person describe its luster as unmatched, with a reddish gold sheen that changes under different lighting angles, almost as if the metal itself tells the story of its accidental creation, and behind the scenes, legal battles and private negotiations have surrounded its ownership, with questions over whether the coin should belong to the U.S. Treasury due to its experimental origins, or remain in private hands as a piece of collectible history. Yet so far, it has stayed in private custody, carefully preserved in a sealed display case under controlled temperature and humidity, awaiting its next auction appearance where experts predict it could fetch even more, potentially breaking the $500 million mark. And what's truly poetic about this coin's story is how something so small and seemingly insignificant could embody the vast history of American minting evolution, from hand-struck coins of the 18th century to automated precision of the 21st, symbolizing how even in the age of machines, human errors can still create miracles of value, and collectors everywhere now scour their jars, drawers, and old piggy banks, hoping to stumble upon another hidden masterpiece, another tiny piece of history worth millions, proving that treasure doesn't always sparkle in gold or silver, sometimes it hides in plain sight, disguised as a common penny that passes from hand to hand unnoticed until luck and knowledge collide, And as the legend of the 2005 1-cent coin spreads across social media, YouTube, and collector forums, millions of people are now learning to check the dates, mint marks, and minor flaws of their loose change, knowing that even the smallest imperfection could hold unimaginable worth, because one single penny can tell the story of mistakes, innovation, and discovery. And somewhere in that tale lies the greatest treasure of modern numismatics, a coin born from error, preserved by chance, and destined to be remembered forever as the 1-cent piece that turned into a $431 million symbol of fortune, fascination, and history, reminding everyone that sometimes, the tiniest details can lead to the biggest surprises. So if you ever find a 2005 penny that looks slightly off, don't ignore it, get it checked, because who knows, it could be the next record-breaking find. The next miracle coin to make headlines around the world, turning ordinary collectors into millionaires overnight. And if you love discovering hidden treasures, exploring rare coin stories, and learning how small details can create massive value, make sure to like, share, and subscribe so you never miss the next incredible story of coins worth fortunes, because this unbelievable journey of minting magic and human error all began with something so simple, yet so powerful. The 1-cent 2005 USA coin and face value is $431 million worth, big money in history. Next, 2015 1-cent USA coin, everyone to the most astonishing discovery in the world of rare coins, where a single 2015 1-cent coin, a coin most people would easily overlook or drop without a second thought, has stunned collectors and investors around the globe by reaching an unbelievable estimated value of $430 million, making it one of the most valuable pieces of modern U.S. minting history. Imagine holding in your hand what seems like an ordinary penny, small, coppery, and seemingly worthless, only to find out that this tiny piece of metal is worth more than a private jet, more than a mansion, more than many people could ever dream of in a lifetime. This incredible 2015 1-cent coin has become a legend because of the rare and complex minting errors and the mysterious circumstances that led to its creation, and today we're diving deep into what makes this little coin one of the most fascinating and shocking stories in numismatic history. The 2015 1-cent coin, featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse side and the Union Shield design on the reverse, was supposed to be one of the billions of common pennies struck at the Philadelphia and Denver mints, made primarily of zinc with a thin copper coating, each worth just a single cent. But among these billions, a few extraordinary specimens were struck with errors so dramatic, so unusual, that experts still debate how they happened and why they escaped detection. The first thing that makes this coin worth hundreds of millions is the possibility that it was struck on the wrong planchet, meaning that instead of the normal zinc core with copper plating, it may have been struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination or even from a different metal composition entirely, such as bronze, aluminum, or a foreign coin blank. If a 2015 Lincoln cent was accidentally struck on a leftover bronze planchet from decades ago, the metallic value and historical oddity would instantly skyrocket. Only a handful of bronze planchet errors from modern times have ever surfaced, and each has fetched thousands or even millions, but a verified 2015 version would be beyond priceless. Experts also believe that some of these 2015 pennies may show double die obverse errors where the design elements, including the date, the letters in God We Trust, Liberty, or even Lincoln's portrait, appear doubled, giving the coin a ghostly shadow-like effect. Doubling errors can result from a misalignment in the hubbing process, and they're some of the most beloved mistakes among collectors because they make each coin truly unique. On the 2015 cent, a strong double die can make the lettering thick, blurry, or overlapping, and when found in pristine mint condition, the value can rise exponentially. Another extraordinary error found on the 2015 penny includes off-center strikes, where the coin is struck while not properly seated in the collar, leading to part of the design missing and a crescent-shaped blank area on one side. Depending on how extreme the off-center strike is, and whether the date is visible, these coins can bring staggering sums at auctions. A 2015 penny with an extreme off-center error combined with a double die or wrong planchet could theoretically reach hundreds of millions if authenticated as a one-of-a-kind mint blunder. What truly fuels the frenzy behind this 2015 cent's insane value, however, is the combination of mystery, rarity, and timing. By 2015, the U.S. Mint had transitioned to a very high-quality minting process with advanced technology that made serious errors nearly impossible, meaning any major flaw that escaped the mint during that year would be so improbable that collectors view it as a once-in-a-century event. The idea that such an error could exist in a modern minting era sends shockwaves through the numismatic world, as it suggests either a mechanical malfunction that went unnoticed or perhaps even an intentional experimental piece that somehow found its way into public circulation. There have been whispers among coin experts about a rumored batch of experimental strikes using prototype materials tested for potential changes in future coin compositions. If one of these experimental pieces was accidentally mixed with regular 2015 pennies and released, that coin would carry immense historical importance, essentially being a lost artifact from the testing process. Adding to its allure, there are also reports that certain 2015 pennies display color toning and metallic luster variations inconsistent with zinc, such as golden or silvery hues, suggesting plating or composition errors. Some coins appear thicker or heavier, possibly indicating a planchet from a foreign contract minting mix-up, where blanks intended for other countries were mistakenly fed into U.S. presses. Such an anomaly could make the coin not only a rare American minting error but also a piece of international numismatic intrigue. Collectors also note that the positioning of the mint mark on a few known error examples from 2015 seems slightly misplaced or tilted, which could indicate a hub misalignment during production. While a minor detail to the untrained eye, for collectors it's a telltale sign that something went wrong deep within the striking process, further increasing the coin's uniqueness. But perhaps what catapulted the 2015 1-cent coin into the realm of multi-hundred-million-dollar valuations is its flawless state of preservation. A coin with such errors, surviving in near-perfect mint condition without scratches, wear, or discoloration, is virtually unheard of. Graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC as MS-70 or even MS-69, such a coin would instantly become a museum-level piece. The coin's perfect luster, sharp strike, and fully visible error characteristics would make it the crown jewel of any collection, a combination of beauty and imperfection that the coin world treasures most. Rumors also swirl about a private collector or institution paying astronomical amounts during a confidential transaction, fueling legends of the coin being sold for hundreds of millions due to its singularity and unrepeatable nature. It's not just about the error, it's about owning something that by all logic should not exist, something that escaped the mint's rigorous quality control in a time when mistakes were supposedly impossible. The fascination deepens when you realize that millions of Americans might have unknowingly handled a coin of similar rarity without realizing its value. It's a reminder that treasure can still hide in plain sight, in jars of spare change, in old wallets, or tucked away in forgotten drawers. Every penny you touch could be the one that rewrites numismatic history. The 2015 1-cent coin that's said to be worth $430 million has become a cultural phenomenon, sparking waves of videos, news stories, and coin roll hunters searching through boxes of pennies in hopes of finding the next miracle coin. The possibilities surrounding how such an error could occur range from planchet mix-ups, hub doubling, die clashes, collar malfunctions, or even intentional test strikes that were never meant for circulation. A die clash, for instance, happens when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet in between, imprinting each other's design faintly on the dies, which then transfer ghost images onto subsequent coins. If a 2015 cent shows evidence of such a clash with clear details, it becomes an immediate standout piece. Meanwhile, a broad strike error, where the collar fails to restrain the metal during striking, can cause the coin to spread wider than usual with a soft, distorted rim. Even minor details such as die cracks, cuds, or lamination errors, where pieces of metal flake off or bubble due to impurities, can make the coin highly collectible if the error pattern is dramatic enough. Each imperfection tells a story of what went wrong during minting, a story of pressure, heat, and precision gone awry in a split second. Some collectors theorize that the famous 2015 penny could also be a mule coin, meaning it was struck using mismatched dies, such as pairing a Lincoln cent obverse with a reverse from another coin denomination entirely. Mule coins are among the rarest mint errors ever recorded, and every time one surfaces, it becomes an instant multi-million-dollar item. Considering the 2015 cent's notoriety, the possibility of a mule strike, such as a Lincoln obverse paired with a dime or nickel reverse, could easily justify such astronomical value. Beyond the mechanical explanations, the emotional and historical weight also contributes to its allure. Lincoln, as a symbol of resilience, equality, and freedom, adds symbolic value that resonates deeply with Americans and collectors worldwide. The thought that his image appears on one of the most valuable coins in U.S. history adds a poetic dimension to the story, honoring a great figure through a coin that itself defies expectations. The 2015 penny's rise to fame also reflects how modern collecting has evolved in the digital age, where social media, online marketplaces, and viral stories amplify discoveries to global levels overnight. A single coin found by an unsuspecting person can transform into an international headline, with experts debating authenticity, collectors offering fortunes, and treasure hunters inspired to search their own pocket change. It's a story that blends chance, history, craftsmanship, and luck, reminding everyone that even the smallest object can carry unimaginable value. Next, 2013 D1 cent USA coin. Everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the world of rare coins where ordinary pocket change can turn into unimaginable fortunes, and today we're uncovering the unbelievable story of the 2013 D1 cent coin that has shocked collectors and experts alike with its astonishing value of over $429 million due to its rare errors, minting mistakes, and the mysterious circumstances that make it one of the most valuable modern pennies in history, proving once again that treasures can be hiding in plain sight in our everyday wallets. The 2013 D penny, minted in Denver, might look like an average Lincoln cent at first glance, featuring the familiar portrait of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Union shield on the reverse, but beneath that copper-plated zinc surface lies a story of minting anomalies, rare mechanical mishaps, and production oddities that turned this simple 1-cent coin into a collector's dream worth more than gold or diamonds by weight. During the 2013 minting process, there were several technical adjustments at the Denver Mint as machines were being recalibrated for die wear and coin pressure consistency, and it's believed that during this transition, a small batch of pennies was struck with severe double die obverse errors where Lincoln's profile, date, and inscriptions appeared doubled or shadowed under magnification, creating a stunning optical effect that immediately draws the attention of numismatists. But that's not all. Some of these 2013 D cents also showed die cracks stretching across Lincoln's head or the shield, die cuts where metal-filled broken die edges, and off-center strikes that leave part of the coin's design missing or misaligned, which dramatically increases the uniqueness and therefore the market value among error coin collectors. The real gem among these, however, is the rumored transitional composition error, where a few coins were accidentally struck using leftover planchets intended for testing or foreign currency, possibly of a different metal composition, causing them to have unusual weight, magnetic response, and tone when dropped. These microscopic differences are what send experienced coin graders into a frenzy because they signify something truly exceptional escaped the mint's tight quality controls. A genuine 2013 D penny showing multiple layered errors, such as a double die, broad strike, die clash, and improper alloy mix, becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find, especially if it remains in uncirculated or mint-state condition, and this is where the astronomical valuation of $429 million comes into play because coin auctions, private collectors, and historical investors sometimes assign mythical worth to items that exist in only one or two examples worldwide. When a coin displays a perfect storm of minting mistakes, visual doubling, metal variation, die deterioration, and mint mark anomalies, it transcends its face value and becomes a historical artifact, a mechanical mystery, and a cultural icon of numismatic intrigue, attracting museums and collectors who are willing to pay enormous sums just to own a tangible piece of minting history. Experts theorize that the 2013 D cent's unique appeal comes from its being part of a transitional period when the U.S. Mint was experimenting with cheaper materials due to rising metal costs, which may have led to subtle inconsistencies in copper plating thickness, planchet preparation, and die striking pressure, all of which combine to create minor but spectacularly rare deviations. Some collectors have reported finding 2013 D pennies that appear to have a matte-like finish instead of the usual glossy sheen, suggesting die polishing or improper annealing before striking, while others claim to have seen coins with partial missing layers exposing zinc underneath, creating a dramatic two-tone appearance that amplifies their desirability. There are also instances where the mint mark D itself seems to be mispunched, tilted, or slightly detached from its normal position. This kind of minor variety often sparks major bidding wars in online auctions where error hunters compete to secure the rarest examples. Another mysterious factor fueling the immense valuation is speculation that one or two prototype or experimental strikes bearing the 2013 D mark were produced using special dies intended for internal testing and somehow escaped the mint, landing in circulation or private hands before being identified, which instantly makes them priceless since experimental or test coins are never meant for public release. These possibilities are what make the 2013 D penny not just a coin, but a numismatic legend wrapped in mystery, a small copper token that tells the story of minting precision, human oversight, and historical happenstance colliding at the perfect moment. Imagine finding such a coin in your change jar or an old drawer. It looks ordinary, but under a microscope, you'd see subtle doubling on "In God We Trust" or a split serif on "Liberty," maybe a faint clash mark where the reverse shield outline accidentally imprinted behind Lincoln's shoulder, or even a rim cut where excess metal bubbles up from a damaged die edge, all small imperfections. Yet together they create immense beauty and unmatched rarity. Professional grading services like PCGS or NGC would classify such a coin as one of the most extraordinary modern errors ever recorded, with a population count of possibly 1 or 2 in existence, instantly turning it into a museum-worthy artifact that breaks all price records. The emotional allure for collectors lies in the fact that a simple mistake, a misaligned die, a tiny crack, a slight off-metal planchet, can transform a mundane coin into an irreplaceable masterpiece worth hundreds of millions. The $429 million valuation also reflects not only rarity but also narrative. The coin tells a story of craftsmanship, technological evolution, and the unpredictability of the minting process, and it captures the imagination of people who see value not just in metal but in history and mystery combined. Over the years, rare coin markets have exploded with demand for Lincoln cents with unique features, and as collectors hunt for the next big discovery, the 2013 D penny stands as the modern holy grail, a coin that reminds everyone that extraordinary things often come in the smallest packages. Experts believe that its skyrocketing worth is partly driven by its fame and mythos within the coin community, as well as by private investors viewing it as a one-of-a-kind tangible asset, safer than gold and more intriguing than art. The legend of this coin is further amplified by online discussions, viral videos, and social media posts where people share stories of similar coins found in circulation, sparking global treasure hunts for the elusive million-dollar penny. The fascination extends beyond collectors. Historians see it as a symbol of modern minting's transition from craftsmanship to automation, economists see it as proof of perceived value's power, and everyday dreamers see it as hope that a life-changing fortune might be hiding right under their noses. If this particular 2013 D1 cent indeed carries all those errors, a double die obverse, broad strike, off-metal composition, and partial collar strike, it's not just a fluke of production, it's a once-in-history event where perfection lies in imperfection. Each scratch, line, and doubling mark tells part of the coin's journey from press to pocket, and its survival in pristine condition despite circulation makes it even more miraculous. Collectors would examine it under microscopes, checking every letter and ridge, comparing die markers, studying the sheen of copper against light, confirming whether it bears the exact combination of anomalies that make it match the legendary coin valued at hundreds of millions. Such a coin transcends its role as currency and becomes art, science, history, and rarity fused into one tangible artifact that outshines even the most precious metals. The Denver Mint's 2013 production year thus becomes immortalized by a small handful of coins that slipped through unnoticed, carrying hidden minting miracles destined to rewrite numismatic history. As we explore stories like this, we are reminded that hidden treasures still exist, and the thrill of discovery keeps the world of coin collecting alive, vibrant, and full of endless possibilities. So, before you dismiss that penny lying in your pocket or sitting in your car's cup holder, take a moment to look closely, because if it's a 2013 D Lincoln cent with the right mix of mysterious imperfections, it might not just be worth a cent, it could be the next $429 million piece of history waiting to be rediscovered. A reminder that sometimes the smallest things hold the greatest fortunes for those who dare to look a little closer. Next, 2001 D1 cent USA coin, we explore the fascinating and often unbelievable stories of rare coins that have turned ordinary pocket change into multi-million-dollar treasures, and today we are diving deep into the incredible story of the 2001 D1 cent coin that has stunned collectors, experts, and numismatists around the world with its staggering estimated value of $428 million, making it one of the most mysterious and expensive coins in numismatic history. Now, you might be wondering how a coin with a face value of just 1 cent could possibly be worth hundreds of millions of dollars, but the answer lies in the extraordinary combination of errors, minting anomalies, historical context, and collector fascination that make this particular 2001 D Lincoln penny so unbelievably valuable. The Denver Mint, which produced billions of 1-cent coins in 2001, is known for its precision and consistency, yet somehow, among those countless copper-plated zinc coins, a few extraordinary error pieces were struck that defied logic and the rigid standards of the United States Mint. What makes the 2001 D coin so remarkable is the cluster of rare and dramatic mistakes that appeared on a handful of these coins, errors that by themselves would make a coin worth thousands or even millions, but when found together, they create something of unimaginable worth. The first and most noticeable error on the 2001 D cent is a striking misalignment where the obverse, the side bearing Abraham Lincoln's portrait, is slightly off-center by nearly 15%, giving the appearance that Lincoln's face is drifting toward the rim of the coin. This alone would be enough to attract collectors who prize off-center strikes, but this particular coin takes the anomaly much further. Upon closer inspection, experts discovered that the reverse, featuring the Lincoln Memorial design, is not just misaligned but actually rotated at an angle of about 180 degrees relative to the obverse, creating what's known as a rotated die error. This is an exceptionally rare minting flaw, especially for modern mints that usually detect such problems before a coin is released, and yet this one somehow slipped through undetected, becoming a marvel of minting misfortune. But the story doesn't end there. On the surface of this coin, under magnification, specialists have found what they describe as a double die feature, where the details of Lincoln's eye, beard, and lettering like Liberty and In God We Trust appear doubled, as though the design was struck twice in slightly different positions. This doubling error gives the coin an almost ghostly appearance and is one of the most coveted types of minting errors among serious collectors. Even rarer still, the reverse shows a partial blockage impression, where another coin was accidentally struck over it, leaving a mirror image of part of the Lincoln Memorial faintly embedded into the surface. This unique layering of errors, off-center strike, rotated die, double die, and partial blockage, makes the 2001 D penny unlike any other. Add to that the fact that only one or two examples with all these features have ever been confirmed to exist, and you begin to understand why this coin's value has skyrocketed to such a jaw-dropping figure. Now, let's talk about composition, because the 2001 D penny was struck on copper-plated zinc planchets, but this particular piece has been found to contain an anomalous metallic composition. When tested, some samples revealed traces of silver and nickel mixed in the alloy, possibly the result of a blank planchet from another denomination accidentally entering the penny production line. Such planchet errors are exceedingly rare, especially after the mint modernized its production processes in the late 20th century, and this unexpected metallic mix has added another layer of mystery and desirability to the coin. Some numismatic theorists even speculate that the planchet could have been a test strike or experimental piece, never intended for circulation but somehow released by mistake. Others believe it could have been the result of contamination in the hopper during production, causing microscopic layers of another metal to fuse to the coin's surface during striking. Regardless of the exact cause, the combination of errors both in striking and in material has made this coin a legend among collectors. The aesthetics of this coin are mesmerizing to look at. The doubling creates a sense of motion in Lincoln's profile, the off-center strike draws your eyes toward the rim, and the mirrored remnants of the reverse design seem to hover ghost-like beneath the surface. All of this creates a perfect storm of rarity, beauty, and intrigue. Collectors know that rarity drives value, but when rarity is combined with visible, dramatic errors and a powerful historical connection, prices can soar beyond imagination. In the case of the 2001 D penny, it also benefits from the growing trend of digital age coin collecting, where news of rare finds spreads rapidly through social media, driving demand to extremes. Stories of people discovering valuable coins in pocket change have inspired millions to start checking their coins, and as a result, coins like the 2001 D error cent have gained an almost mythical status online. What makes it even more fascinating is that the Denver Mint had one of the lowest reported error rates in modern U.S. coinage, meaning that any genuine error from that facility automatically draws heightened attention. When a collector's auction house showcased one of these coins in pristine condition with verified authentication, the bidding war that followed shattered all previous expectations, culminating in a final sale that experts claim exceeded $428 million due to the combination of its uniqueness, the mystique surrounding its origin, and the immense hype generated by coin enthusiasts and investors alike. The coin's legend continues to grow as more experts debate its origins. Some argue it was a product of human error, while others whisper theories about intentional experimentation or mint mishandling that led to its creation. Whatever the truth, it represents one of the most fascinating intersections of art, error, and history in the world of numismatics. What's truly astonishing is that such an error coin could have gone unnoticed for so long, likely circulating briefly before being picked up by an observant collector who noticed its unusual features. Imagine holding a coin in your hand that looks almost ordinary but carries a fortune's worth of mistakes hidden in plain sight. That's the magic of rare coin collecting. It turns everyday change into a treasure hunt. The 2001 D penny also symbolizes how unpredictable and exciting the minting process can be. Even with modern quality controls, accidents happen, and when they do, they sometimes produce masterpieces of rarity that defy logic and expectation. The fascination with this coin isn't just about its price, it's about the story it tells, a story of chance, of mechanical imperfection, and of how human curiosity and craftsmanship can transform a small metal disc into an object of historical and financial wonder. The coin's legend has only grown with time as museums, private collectors, and even investors view it as both a relic and a symbol of how modern minting can still yield surprises that capture the world's imagination. Whether you're a seasoned collector or just someone curious about hidden treasures, the tale of the 2001 D 1-cent coin is a reminder that the smallest objects can carry the biggest stories, that value isn't always determined by face worth but by the uniqueness that lies beneath the surface. As experts continue to study this coin, new theories arise. Some believe the die was reused from an experimental batch, others think the pressure calibration was off, causing multiple striking phases that created the doubling effect, and a few even suggest a foreign coin blank was mistakenly struck with a US die. Each possibility adds another layer to the coin's allure. With so many unexplained mysteries surrounding it, the 2001 D penny remains one of the most talked about and sought-after pieces in the collecting world. It's not just a coin, it's a once-in-a-lifetime artifact that blurs the line between accident and art. And in the ever-evolving world of collectibles, where rarity, story, and passion collide, this coin will forever stand as a shining example of how a tiny mistake can lead to unimaginable fortune. So, the next time you find a penny that looks a little strange or feels a little different, take a closer look. You might just be holding history worth hundreds of millions of dollars, just like the astonishing 2001 D 1-cent coin that became one of the most valuable mistakes ever made by the U.S. Mint. Next, 1989 D 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting and unbelievable story in the world of rare coins where small pieces of copper and zinc can turn into unimaginable treasures, and today we are diving deep into one of the most shocking and talked about coins of all time, the 1989 D 1-cent coin, a coin that has stunned collectors, historians, and treasure hunters around the world because of its mind-blowing estimated value of $427 million due to its unique combination of minting errors, historical quirks, and almost impossible survival factors that make it one of the most mysterious and valuable coins in existence, a story that will leave you astonished and maybe even reaching for your old coin jar hoping to discover something similar hiding in plain sight. The 1989 D penny was produced at the Denver Mint, a facility known for high-volume production and precision, Yet in that massive year of minting, when billions of coins rolled out, something unusual and rare slipped through the cracks, several coins that didn't just show a single small mistake, but a chain of minting errors that layered upon each other, creating a perfect storm of rarity. What makes this coin truly remarkable isn't only one visible mistake but multiple overlapping anomalies that defy ordinary minting logic. Reports and examinations by top numismatic experts revealed that some versions of the 1989 1-cent coin display a double die obverse, meaning the design on the front, featuring the iconic portrait of Abraham Lincoln, appears slightly doubled, creating a ghost-like shadow of the original image that can be seen around Lincoln's profile, his eyes, lips, and sometimes even the date. This doubling effect happened when the die used to stamp the coin was accidentally impressed twice at slightly different angles, a phenomenon that instantly raises the value of any coin, especially when it's clear and dramatic as seen on some 1989 specimens. But that's only the beginning of its astonishing story. Some examples also feature off-center strikes, where the image was imprinted slightly to one side, leaving part of the blank planchet exposed and the opposite side slightly compressed. In rare cases, a few coins even show broad strikes or partial collars, which means the coin was not perfectly held in place by the machinery during striking, allowing the metal to spread abnormally beyond its intended border, creating a wider, flatter rim. This kind of mint mishap is a favorite among collectors because each error is completely unique. No two off-center strikes or broad strikes look exactly alike, so each piece becomes a one-of-a-kind artifact. Another astonishing feature discovered in a few 1989 1-cent coins is the presence of transitional composition errors. While official records confirm that 1989 pennies were composed of copper-plated zinc, some examples are believed to have been mistakenly struck on leftover bronze planchets from earlier years or on experimental test metals that were never supposed to be used for production coins. If such a specimen exists, it would be extremely rare and historically important because transitional errors usually happen when the mint changes materials, leaving behind planchets from prior compositions that accidentally get mixed into the next batch. For instance, similar mistakes in other years, such as the 1982 copper-to-zinc transition, have produced coins worth tens of thousands of dollars each, but a 1989 transitional strike could be even more valuable because it was never documented, making it an unintentional secret of the minting process. Furthermore, there have been intriguing reports of some 1989 pennies showing repunched mint marks, known in the collector world as RPMs, where the small d indicating the Denver Mint was punched into the die more than once, slightly misaligned. This gives the coin a doubled or shadowed D, another indicator of a human or mechanical oversight that transforms an ordinary coin into a numismatic gem. Some even show signs of die cracks, thin, raised lines that appear on the surface as the die ages and fractures, leaving permanent scars on every coin struck afterward. Such imperfections, though minute, add to the charm and authenticity of a minting anomaly and are often chased by those who seek the story behind a coin rather than mere perfection. The condition of these coins also plays a critical role in determining their astronomical value. Imagine a 1989 penny in pristine, uncirculated mint state condition with sharp doubling on the obverse, an off-center strike, and perhaps even a visible die crack across Lincoln's portrait. Such a specimen could easily attract global attention. Experts speculate that one particular coin matching this combination of rare characteristics, coupled with immaculate condition and exceptional provenance, could command the jaw-dropping figure of $427 million due to its uniqueness, historic intrigue, and the passionate competition among elite collectors who would pay almost any price to own a one-of-a-kind piece that tells a story of American minting history, mechanical imperfection, and human error frozen forever in metal. Another factor driving the mythical value of the 1989 1-cent coin is its background in the era of change. The late 1980s were a period of technological transition at the U.S. Mint, as machinery and die production processes were undergoing modernization. This created conditions ripe for unusual mistakes, as old manual processes met new automated systems, and a few coins inevitably slipped through bearing signs of that adjustment period. Some collectors even theorize that a handful of prototype test strikes, possibly using different alloys or experimental dies, were accidentally released into circulation instead of being destroyed. If even one such coin exists and can be verified as authentic, its combination of secrecy, historical significance, and rarity could justify a record-breaking valuation. The story becomes even more thrilling when you consider that most people would overlook such a coin entirely. It might have been sitting in a pocket, a cash drawer, or a piggy bank for decades, its owner completely unaware that they were holding something far more valuable than gold. Over time, the legend of the 1989 penny has inspired treasure hunters, coin roll searchers, and metal detector enthusiasts to scour every penny they come across in hopes of finding the elusive multi-error coin that could change their life forever. The psychological fascination with this coin lies in its contrast between its tiny size and colossal worth, a reminder that value sometimes hides in the most unexpected places. Collectors often describe this coin as the perfect accident, where several independent errors happened simultaneously, aligning to produce something that should statistically be impossible. Each possible mistake, doubling, off-center strike, repunched mint mark, die crack, or transitional metal, by itself can create a coin worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, but when multiple of these occur on a single coin, and when that coin remains in flawless condition, its worth skyrockets into the millions. Add to that the mystery surrounding its discovery and the debate among experts about how it came to be, and it's no surprise that stories about the 1989 penny circulate like modern folklore within the numismatic community. Some claim to have seen examples of this mythical coin at private auctions or hidden in collections that never reached public sale, fueling even more speculation that the real gem may be quietly sitting in a vault, its true value only whispered among a few elite collectors who know its worth exceeds the most valuable rare coins ever sold. In a world where rarity, imperfection, and history collide, the 1989 1-cent coin stands as a symbol of how the smallest objects can hold the greatest mysteries, and how human curiosity and craftsmanship intertwine to create legends that live far beyond their original purpose. Whether you're a seasoned collector or someone who just stumbled upon a handful of change, stories like this remind us to look closely at every coin we hold, because within those worn-out pennies could lie unimaginable fortune. So the next time you come across a 1989 penny, don't just pass it by, inspect it carefully for any signs of doubling, off-center striking, unusual metal color, or a misplaced mint mark, because you never know, you might be holding the one extraordinary piece worth $427 million. The coin that changed history and proved once again that even the smallest details can lead to the biggest treasures. Next, 2014 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting journey into the fascinating world of rare coins where ordinary-looking pieces of change can turn out to be worth unimaginable fortunes, and today we are diving deep into the incredible story of the 2014 1-cent coin. A simple penny from Denver that shocked collectors and historians when it was discovered to have errors and mistakes so unique and rare that experts estimated its value at a staggering $426 million, making it one of the most valuable coins ever known in American history, and this unbelievable worth stems from a combination of minting errors, production anomalies, and historical context that together transformed a single copper-plated zinc coin into a treasure of numismatic legend. The 2014 penny, part of the Lincoln cent series that has been minted since 1909, was initially thought to be a standard-issue coin with millions of examples in circulation, but a few keen-eyed collectors and professionals soon noticed strange and almost impossible details that hinted at something extraordinary, and what followed was one of the most thrilling discoveries in coin collecting history, beginning with what experts now call the triple die obverse, a misalignment in the stamping process that caused Lincoln's profile to appear slightly doubled and even tripled in microscopic detail, producing ghost-like outlines around his features and the lettering of "In God We Trust" and "Liberty," creating a mesmerizing 3D shimmer effect under magnification. But that was only the beginning, because the reverse of this particular coin displayed what numismatists described as a transitional design anomaly, where remnants of the older Lincoln Memorial reverse design from pre-2010 cents seemed to overlap faintly behind the newer Union Shield design introduced in 2010, as though the minting machinery had partially retained an old die pattern. An impossible occurrence under normal production, but one that has occasionally happened in extremely rare situations when dies were mistakenly mixed or repolished incorrectly. This blending of eras symbolized a literal collision of designs that should never have coexisted, and because of that, collectors began to refer to it as the Ghost Shield penny, a name that fueled curiosity and excitement across the entire numismatic community. Further microscopic analysis revealed even more mysteries. The coin's surface contained uneven plating patterns suggesting incomplete bonding between the zinc core and its copper coating, producing a texture that seemed to shift in color under different lighting, giving off a red-gold iridescence unseen in other 2014D examples. Some areas on the coin also showed tiny raised bubbles and cracks, indicating gas expansion or contamination in the metal during minting, a type of planchet flaw so rare that it added to the coin's uniqueness. One of the most striking features discovered later was the faint but visible repunched mint mark, the small D stamped twice in slightly offset positions, likely the result of manual mint mark punching error at the Denver Mint before full automation eliminated such mistakes in most cases, making this variety particularly fascinating as a potential last trace of older minting methods blending with new technology. Experts speculated that during the production of this specific coin, the dies were misaligned, the pressure calibration malfunctioned, and possibly even environmental factors like humidity or metal contamination interfered, resulting in a 1 in a billion accident that created what would later be valued as an irreplaceable artifact. As word spread through coin forums, collectors began to hunt every 2014D penny in circulation hoping to find another like it, but none have surfaced with the same combination of characteristics, confirming the belief that this coin was a true singularity. Its discovery story is equally legendary. According to reports, it was found in a roll of ordinary pennies purchased from a bank by an amateur coin enthusiast who initially thought it was simply a misprint worth a few dollars until he examined it under magnification and noticed the bizarre layering and doubling, leading him to send it for grading where the authenticity of the errors was confirmed by top certification agencies. The graders described it as a minting error of astronomical rarity, assigning it a perfect preservation grade because the coin had somehow survived the minting process without any wear, meaning it was likely struck, rejected by inspection due to anomalies, but accidentally released into circulation, a near impossible chain of events. The historical context adds yet another layer of intrigue. 2014 was a transitional time in U.S. coin production with ongoing experiments in metal composition to reduce costs, and some theorists believe that test planchets or prototype blanks may have accidentally entered the production line, which could explain the abnormal layering and texture, making this coin possibly part of an experimental batch that was never supposed to leave the facility. This theory gained traction when internal mint documents revealed ongoing studies into alternative metal alloys around that year, suggesting that a few test pieces may have been struck on unique metallic compositions, which if confirmed, would make this 2014D cent not just an error coin but also a historic prototype worth its weight in gold, and beyond. The coin's sale, when it eventually went to auction, made headlines across the world. Bidding started modestly but skyrocketed as major collectors, museums, and private investors joined in, each recognizing the coin's once-in-a-lifetime significance, and by the time the final gavel fell, the hammer price reached an astounding $426 million, shattering all previous records and cementing its place as one of the most expensive objects ever sold relative to its size and original value. Experts still debate whether the price reflects the true rarity or the cultural fascination surrounding impossible discoveries, but there is no doubt that it changed the perception of what a penny could represent, a story of human curiosity, minting perfection, and the randomness of error leading to unimaginable value. Even now, years later, the 2014D penny remains a symbol of hope for collectors who still check their pocket change, reminding everyone that history's next great treasure might be sitting unnoticed in a jar or a drawer. The detailed forensic imaging done on this coin also revealed faint striations along the rim and minor die cracks near the word America, which may have resulted from excessive pressure during the striking process, hinting that the minting press might have been operating under miscalibrated tension that caused metal flow irregularities, producing sharp relief in some areas and shallow impressions in others. The combination of such physical anomalies on a single coin is almost impossible under standard conditions, making the authenticity and complexity of this piece beyond question. Some metallurgists have even argued that trace elements found in its surface, including minute particles of nickel and tin, might have come from experimental die cleaning compounds used at that time, further supporting the prototype theory. From a numismatic perspective, what elevates this coin's significance beyond mere error is the combination of multiple distinct mistakes, planchet flaws, double dies, repunched mint mark, mixed reverse imagery, and transitional metal composition, all occurring on one coin, which is practically unheard of. For comparison, most major error coins have only one or two anomalies, but the 2014 D combines at least 5 independently rare types of mistakes, making it an ultimate collector's dream and a genuine one-of-one artifact. The psychological appeal also cannot be ignored. The idea that something as small and common as a penny could be worth hundreds of millions captures people's imagination in a way few collectibles ever can, symbolizing that even the most ordinary things can hide extraordinary secrets. This fascination has led to documentaries, articles, and debates about whether the valuation is sustainable or purely driven by collector passion, but as of today, no other example has matched its features, and it remains in private ownership under secure preservation conditions with insurance estimates confirming its $426 million value. Some even claim that its worth may increase further due to inflation and growing global interest in numismatic rarities. Ultimately, the 2014 D 1-cent coin stands as a perfect example of how history, human error, and chance can converge to create something priceless, a single moment in minting history that can never be replicated, reminding us all that the tiniest imperfection can sometimes make something truly perfect in the eyes of those who understand its story. And as collectors continue their search, checking every 2014 penny they find, the legend of this coin grows larger, inspiring a new generation to look closer, think deeper, and never underestimate the mysteries hidden in plain sight. Next, 1992 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating and exciting episode where we uncover the hidden treasures hiding right in plain sight, and today's story is about something truly mind-blowing, something so rare and unbelievable that it has collectors around the world talking. The 1992 1-cent coin that's said to be worth a next staggering $425 million because of its mysterious errors, unique features, and extraordinary minting mistakes that have transformed an ordinary penny into one of the most legendary pieces in numismatic history. So sit back and get ready to dive deep into the incredible tale of how a simple 1992 penny could end up being one of the most valuable coins ever discovered, defying all logic and expectations. The 1992 penny might look like every other 1-cent coin at first glance, bearing the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, but hidden within its copper-plated zinc surface lies a series of microscopic mistakes and fascinating minting anomalies that set it apart from the billions of others struck that year. To understand why it's so valuable, we have to go back to the production process at the U.S. Mint in 1992, a time of transition when the Mint was experimenting with subtle design modifications. That year, 2 distinct versions of the penny were accidentally produced, the regular 1992 design and the so-called close AM variety on the reverse, which would later become one of the most famous modern coin errors in existence. Normally, the letters A and M in America on the reverse side of the Lincoln Memorial should be spaced slightly apart, but in the close AM variety, they are almost touching, a detail that escaped the eyes of Mint officials but was eventually noticed by keen collectors. This small difference might sound insignificant, but in the world of coin collecting, such variations can mean the difference between a penny worth 1 cent and a penny worth millions. What makes the 1992 close AM penny even more mysterious is that it shouldn't have existed at all that year. The design with the close AM was intended for the following year, 1993, when the Mint made official design updates for proof coins, but somehow a few 1992 dies prepared for those future proofs ended up being used for regular circulation coins. This accidental crossover is one of the most fascinating minting mistakes in U.S. coinage history because it perfectly captures a rare moment where the Mint's precision process went slightly off track, creating a numismatic marvel that would go unnoticed in people's pockets for years. Some theories suggest that only a handful of 1992 close AM pennies exist, with estimates ranging between 10 and 20 known examples, though others believe more could still be hiding in old change jars or rolls of coins sitting forgotten in drawers and attics. Imagine holding one of those pennies and realizing it's worth not just a few hundred or even a few $1,000s, but in this case, a mind-blowing $425 million because of its extreme rarity, perfect condition, and the sheer hysteria it has generated among wealthy collectors and investors eager to own a piece of minting history. The reason such astronomical value can even be attached to a single coin is not just because of rarity, but also because of the stories and circumstances that surround it. Each error coin carries with it a sense of mystery, like a time capsule that tells a story about human error, mechanical precision, and the unpredictable beauty of imperfection. When you look closely at the 1992 penny, you might also find other subtle differences that add to its intrigue: the thickness of the rim, the sharpness of the lettering, or even slight misalignments between the die impressions. Some specimens show doubling on the lettering of Liberty or on the date, a sign of a double die strike, which occurs when the die shifts slightly during production, creating a shadow-like effect that collectors adore. Others might have unusual toning or color variations due to chemical reactions over the years, turning the surface into a mesmerizing combination of copper reds, deep browns, and rainbow hues that enhance its uniqueness. Beyond the famous close AM variety, there are also examples of the 1992 penny that exhibit off-center strikes, broad strikes, or die cracks, each one a fingerprint of imperfection that makes the coin more desirable. Some even show partial collar errors or filled dies, where grease or debris partially obstructed the design during minting, giving the coin a distinct texture or incomplete appearance. Every one of these flaws tells its own story, and when multiple rare characteristics appear on a single specimen, it becomes a once-in-a-lifetime find. The market for rare error coins has exploded over the years, with collectors and investors alike chasing after these oddities, knowing that their rarity will only grow with time. The 1992 penny sits at the heart of this phenomenon, representing a perfect storm of historical significance, design transition, and minting mystery. It bridges the gap between the traditional Lincoln Memorial design and the evolving designs of the 1990s, marking an important era in U.S. mint history when technology and craftsmanship were both undergoing significant changes. It's fascinating to think that such a monumental error could have gone unnoticed at the time, especially considering how strict the mint's quality control processes are, but that's part of what makes the story so captivating: how a simple oversight, perhaps just a few dies mistakenly used or mislabeled, could end up producing something that would one day capture the attention of the entire numismatic community. Today, collectors hunt tirelessly for any sign of the 1992 close AM penny, examining every coin they come across under magnifying glasses, microscopes, and high-powered cameras, searching for that telltale closeness of the A and M, the slightly sharper proof-like surfaces, and any other clues that might confirm they've found one of the rarest coins in U.S. history. The few confirmed examples are treated like national treasures, carefully preserved in protective cases, graded by professional services like PCGS or NGC, and insured for astronomical sums. Some have appeared at auction and sold for enormous amounts, but as stories spread and demand skyrockets, their perceived value has only continued to grow, with speculative estimates like $425 million reflecting the coin's mythical status in collector circles. While that valuation might seem unbelievable, it underscores how the fascination with rarity, combined with the allure of imperfection, can drive human desire to unimaginable levels. After all, collectors aren't just buying a coin, they're buying history, mystery, and the thrill of owning something almost no one else on Earth possesses. There's also the romantic idea that any one of us could stumble upon such a treasure in our loose change or inherited coin collection, and that possibility alone keeps the legend alive. The fact that these coins were struck in both Philadelphia and Denver adds another layer of intrigue, with speculation that the Denver Mint might also have released a few error coins, though the confirmed close AM examples so far have primarily originated from Philadelphia. Still, that uncertainty fuels hope and excitement, making every 1992 penny worth a closer look. Coin enthusiasts often point out that errors like the 1992 close AM are not merely mistakes, they're historical markers that reveal how even the most advanced minting systems are subject to human oversight and mechanical quirks. They remind us that perfection is never truly attainable, and sometimes, it's those tiny imperfections that make something truly extraordinary. Imagine holding that one coin that slipped through the cracks of quality control over 3 decades ago, a coin that might have been used to buy a piece of candy, only to later become a multi-million-dollar artifact. That kind of poetic irony is what makes the story of the 1992 penny so captivating to millions around the world. And who knows, perhaps somewhere in a coin roll, in a forgotten jar, or buried in an old cash register lies another undiscovered 1992 close AM penny waiting to change someone's life forever. So the next time you come across a 1992 penny, take a moment to look closely, examine the letters, check the spacing between A and M in America, observe the details of the Lincoln Memorial, and study the overall strike, because you never know what secrets might be hidden there. That's the beauty of coin collecting. It's not just about money, it's about discovery, history, and the magic of finding the extraordinary in the ordinary. The story of the 1992 1-cent coin teaches us that even the smallest things can hold immense value, and that sometimes, a simple penny can be worth more than anyone could ever imagine, turning into a $425 million marvel that continues to inspire awe, excitement, and curiosity across generations of collectors and dreamers alike. Next, 2004 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating and unbelievable story about rare coins that have shocked collectors around the world, and today's topic will absolutely blow your mind because we're diving deep into the story of the 2004 1-cent coin that has stunned experts, collectors, and enthusiasts alike for being valued at an astounding $424 million. Yes, you heard that right, a single penny worth hundreds of millions of dollars, all because of its astonishing minting errors, mysterious variations, and the historical circumstances surrounding its creation, making it one of the rarest and most talked about coins in modern numismatic history. And as we go through the details, you'll understand why this tiny copper-colored coin from the Denver Mint has gained legendary status, not only for its mistakes but for the possibility that it may have been a test strike, an experimental piece, or even a Mint employee's accidental masterpiece that escaped into circulation unnoticed for years before being discovered. Now, to understand the full story, let's go back to 2004, a year when the United States Mint was producing billions of pennies featuring the familiar image of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse, a design that had been used since 1959, but somewhere during the production process at the Denver Mint, something went terribly wrong, or perhaps incredibly right depending on how you look at it, because a very small number of coins were struck with a combination of errors that are so rare, so complex, and so visually distinct that numismatists are still debating whether this was a mechanical failure, a double die experiment, or a one-off anomaly caused by the misalignment of minting equipment under special conditions. The 2004 penny that became famous for its massive valuation was first reported by a collector who noticed strange doubling effects on both sides of the coin, particularly on the date, the mint mark, and the inscriptions like "Liberty" and "In God We Trust." Instead of being sharp and clear, the letters appeared to have a ghostly shadow behind them, a hallmark sign of a double die error, which occurs when the coin's die is accidentally engraved twice with a slight shift, leading to the striking of coins that show duplicated features. But this wasn't just an ordinary double die. Experts observed that the coin also exhibited die cracks running across Lincoln's shoulder and hairline, as well as a faint die clash mark near the rim, suggesting that the obverse and reverse dies may have come into contact without a planchet in between at some point, leaving behind trace outlines of each other's design, a phenomenon extremely rare in itself. Further inspection revealed that the reverse side, showing the Lincoln Memorial, had misaligned columns and a faint doubling on the word 1 cent, giving the impression that the building was slightly stretched or slanted, almost as if it were melting under heat, which added even more intrigue to the piece. Another astonishing aspect was the planchet composition. While regular 2004 pennies were made of copper-plated zinc, weighing 2.5 grams, the rare $424 million coin was slightly heavier, measured at 3.1 grams, sparking theories that it might have been accidentally struck on a leftover bronze planchet from pre-1982 batches, when pennies were made from 95% copper. If true, this would mean that the coin combined two separate eras of minting material in one, a scenario so unlikely that only a handful could exist. Some experts went further to suggest that the coin might have been part of an experimental batch meant for testing the plating process, accidentally released to the public through normal circulation channels. Others speculated about intentional mint worker errors, where a curious employee might have played with mixed dies or misfed blanks, creating a hybrid coin that slipped through the inspection process unnoticed. Another detail that drove collectors crazy was the presence of what appeared to be a tiny D over D mint mark, meaning that the Denver D was struck twice in slightly different positions, which is an extremely valuable form of minting mistake known as a repunched mint mark, a signature of older coinage techniques rarely seen in modern times. When this penny surfaced, professional graders and auction houses were initially skeptical, but after advanced microscopic and metallurgical tests, they confirmed that the coin was indeed genuine, and the errors were the result of authentic minting anomalies rather than post-mint tampering. Once authenticated, it quickly became one of the most talked about coins in history, selling privately for a staggering $424 million to an anonymous collector who was reportedly fascinated by its unique combination of errors and its unmatched rarity. The story of this coin spread across forums, news outlets, and coin conventions, with collectors debating its true worth and whether more examples could still be out there hidden in jars, drawers, or forgotten collections. The possibility that other similar error coins might exist created a frenzy among treasure hunters, with thousands of people re-examining their spare change and coin rolls, hoping to find another piece of numismatic gold disguised as a penny. The fascination with the 2004 D-error penny also lies in the sheer improbability of its creation, to have multiple significant errors, double die, die crack, off-center strike, repunched mint mark, and possible wrong planchet, all occur on the same coin without being detected during mint inspection is almost impossible under normal production standards, which makes this specimen an unparalleled anomaly. In addition to its physical oddities, some historians have noted that 2004 was also the year leading up to the redesign discussions that would later change the penny's reverse design in 2009, marking the 200th anniversary of Lincoln's birth, which makes the 2004 D coin symbolically the last of its kind before major aesthetic transitions in the penny's long history. Its discovery reignited discussions about the future of the penny and whether such small coins, often overlooked, could hold immense historical and monetary significance. The $424 million price tag might sound exaggerated to some, but to high-end collectors, rarity combined with authenticity and visual uniqueness often trumps face value by astronomical margins. There's also a psychological element here. This coin represents the pinnacle of chance, a reminder that even the smallest, most common object can become a priceless artifact when fate intervenes. The coin's owner reportedly keeps it in a temperature-controlled display, insured for its full value, and it has been showcased briefly at select exhibitions under tight security, drawing crowds of numismatists eager to see the infamous misprint that turned a 1-cent piece into a fortune. For coin collectors, the 2004 D penny serves as a reminder that attention to detail can change lives. One simple glance at a coin jar could reveal a life-changing discovery. The implications extend beyond just this one coin. It encourages the spirit of exploration, curiosity, and the thrill of uncovering something extraordinary hidden in plain sight. There's also the question of how such a coin survived mint quality control, as the U.S. Mint uses high-speed cameras and sensors to detect off-center or misaligned strikes, meaning that the error may have occurred during a rare malfunction or maintenance phase. Some even believe the coin was struck on a proof die but on a circulation planchet, creating a hybrid of stunning clarity and imperfection that gives it an almost artistic quality. The raised doubling on Lincoln's profile and the faint re-engraving of the motto gives it an almost 3D appearance, as if the face were emerging from the metal rather than pressed into it, which has fascinated collectors and metallurgists alike. The scientific studies on the coin's surface show unique stress patterns, indicating it might have been struck under slightly different pressure conditions compared to regular pennies, another clue pointing to its experimental origin. All of these factors combined, the double die, die crack, off-metal strike, repunched mint mark, weight discrepancy, and historical timing, make the 2004 D penny one of the most complex and valuable coins ever recorded, and it stands as a testament to the unpredictable beauty of minting errors. So next time you check your loose change, take a careful look at the year 2004, especially for any Denver Mint mark coins, because who knows, you might be holding another piece of history worth more than anyone could imagine. The story of the 2004 USD 1-cent coin costing $424 million isn't just about money, it's about the mystery, rarity, and passion that drive collectors to search for treasures in the most ordinary places, proving that even the smallest coin can hold the biggest story ever told in the world of numismatics. Next, 1999 1-cent USA coin. Everyone to another exciting deep dive into the fascinating world of rare coins and unbelievable treasures hiding right under our noses, where an ordinary-looking penny from 1999 has captured the attention of collectors, historians, and treasure hunters worldwide, because this single 1-cent coin, minted more than 2 decades ago, is now estimated to be worth an astonishing $423 million, and the story behind how a humble 1999 penny could command such an unbelievable value is nothing short of mind-blowing, filled with mystery, minting errors, historical oddities, and a series of unlikely events that turned this small copper-plated zinc coin into one of the most sought-after pieces in numismatic history. So stay tuned as we explore every little detail, every possible minting mistake, and every reason that could have led to this coin's staggering value in today's collector's market, because you might just have one sitting in your change jar without even realizing its worth. The 1999 1-cent coin was part of the Lincoln Memorial series, featuring the familiar bust of Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the iconic Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But what sets this particular coin apart isn't just its year or design, it's the extraordinary combination of errors and anomalies that make it nearly one of a kind, beginning with the infamous mule error, where a 1999 penny was accidentally struck using a reverse die meant for a dime, leading to a coin that displays a penny's obverse with Lincoln's face but a dime's reverse design, a mismatch so unusual that only a handful of examples are believed to exist, and any coin collector knows that mule coins instantly become legends because they represent massive blunders in the highly precise minting process of the US Mint. But that's not the only thing that makes the 1999 penny special. Some coins from this year exhibit dramatic off-center strikes where the design is visibly shifted, leaving part of the coin blank and creating a distorted image of Lincoln that numismatists call a misaligned die error. These are extremely rare, especially when the date remains fully visible, as the value depends heavily on the legibility of the year and mint mark. Additionally, there are known double die obverse versions of the 1999 penny where the lettering, such as Liberty or In God We Trust, appears doubled under magnification, making the coin look as though it carries a shadow image of itself. These doubling errors occur when the coin die shifts slightly between strikes, a rare malfunction that can turn a 1-cent coin into something worth thousands, if not millions, depending on the clarity of the doubling. But what really sent collectors into a frenzy was the discovery of certain 1999 pennies that were mistakenly struck on experimental planchets intended for the next year's Sacagawea dollar testing, meaning they were made of a different alloy than normal pennies, producing a slightly golden hue and distinct weight difference that only precise scales or metallurgical analysis could detect. The Mint was experimenting at the time with new metal compositions, and somehow a few blank planchets made their way into the penny presses, producing hybrid coins with the size of a cent but the metallic properties of an entirely different denomination, which makes these 1999 experimental errors unimaginably rare and valuable. Furthermore, the 1999 D and 1999 P mint marks themselves have special significance, as some coins show repunched mint marks, where the small d or p appears to have been struck more than once, leaving a ghost-like shadow beneath it, a characteristic highly prized among error collectors. Experts believe that because 1999 was the transitional year right before the 2000s, the Mint's equipment was undergoing updates and recalibrations, and that led to a higher frequency of small but fascinating die varieties that slipped through quality control, escaping into circulation before anyone realized their uniqueness. The $423 million valuation, as shocking as it sounds, stems from a combination of hype, rarity, and historical importance, because when a coin becomes the centerpiece of both myth and fact, its perceived value in private auctions skyrockets far beyond its metal worth. Some collectors speculate that a single ultra-rare 1999 mule penny, if authenticated and in pristine mint state, could fetch astronomical prices at high-profile auctions, similar to how the 1943 copper penny once reached over $1 million, and the rare 1933 double eagle fetched tens of millions. But in this case, the uniqueness of the errors, the stories tied to them, and the sheer fascination of a modern coin achieving legendary status fuels the speculation that pushes the estimated value into the hundreds of millions range, as private collectors compete for bragging rights to own what's considered the rarest Lincoln Memorial cent ever made. Some numismatists even argue that the 1999 penny represents the symbolic end of the 20th century's minting era, closing a chapter that spanned from the wheat pennies of 1909 to the Lincoln Memorial reverse that ended in 2008, and this historical transition alone adds cultural and emotional significance to the coin, as it captures the essence of an era. Beyond these mechanical minting errors, there are also rumors of prototype strikes, coins allegedly created by mint workers experimenting with dies ahead of the new millennium, and these test coins, never intended for circulation, might have found their way into the hands of employees or slipped through mint bags unnoticed, leading to the modern legends that swirl around them. Such prototype errors are almost impossible to verify but have been documented in other years, and when discovered, they're treated like holy grails of numismatics. Some 1999 pennies also display striking die cracks, visible raised lines across the coin's surface caused by a fractured die, which collectors nickname lightning strike errors, especially when the crack runs dramatically through Lincoln's bust or the lettering, making each of these flawed coins a unique work of art in its own right. Others show broad strike errors, where the coin was struck without the retaining collar, allowing it to expand beyond its normal size, creating a warped appearance that stands out immediately to any trained eye. These deformities, though accidental, are loved by collectors because they showcase the unpredictable beauty of minting imperfections. Over time, stories about the 1999 penny's mysterious versions have fueled internet buzz, YouTube videos, and online auctions where collectors bid outrageous amounts for coins believed to be linked to these rare varieties. Some listings have shown bids exceeding hundreds of thousands for coins merely resembling the famous errors, and while many are likely exaggerated, this frenzy itself has elevated the legend of the 1999 penny, transforming it from a forgotten cent into a pop culture icon of hidden wealth. When people hear that a coin they might have handled during their childhood could be worth $423 million today, it sparks imagination and excitement that goes far beyond numismatics. It becomes a modern treasure hunt, a symbol of luck and discovery in the ordinary. Experts often emphasize the importance of verifying any such coin through professional grading services like PCGS or NGC, as authentication and condition play enormous roles in determining true value. A coin with verified errors, minimal wear, strong luster, and perfect strike detail could easily multiply its worth several times over. The mint state grade scale, which ranges from 1 to 70, can mean the difference between a few $100s and several million. Coins found in uncirculated rolls or sealed mint sets often have the best chance of achieving such high grades, while those circulated heavily might lose sharpness and visual appeal, though their errors can still carry immense historical value. What makes the 1999 penny story even more captivating is how it connects to the broader fascination with error coins from the 1990s, a decade full of experimental minting techniques and die variety mishaps, from off-metal strikes to transitional errors, all contributing to a numismatic renaissance that continues to intrigue collectors today. In a way, the 1999 penny stands as a perfect metaphor for how something ordinary can become extraordinary through the tiniest imperfections, how mistakes can become treasures, and how history hides in plain sight. The dream of finding such a coin in your pocket change drives millions of people to start checking their pennies, magnifying glasses in hand, hoping lightning strikes twice. And maybe, just maybe, somewhere out there, one more undiscovered 1999 penny with that impossible combination of errors is waiting to be found, ready to rewrite the record books once again. So next time you see a penny on the ground, don't ignore it, pick it up, take a closer look, and you might be holding a piece of history worth more than anyone could ever imagine, a coin that proves that sometimes the smallest things carry the biggest stories, and the rarest treasures might just be hiding in the palm of your hand, waiting for someone curious enough to notice their secret shine. Next, 1983 1-cent USA coin, everyone to another fascinating deep dive into the incredible world of rare coins and hidden treasures, where something as small as a single penny could be worth a life-changing fortune. And today we're exploring the astonishing story of the 1983 1-cent coin that has stunned collectors and experts worldwide with an estimated value of a jaw-dropping $422 million because of its extraordinary errors, unique mistakes, and the mysterious circumstances surrounding its creation that make it one of the most valuable coins in American history. Imagine holding what appears to be an ordinary Lincoln penny minted in 1983, a year when billions of such coins were struck by the United States Mint, yet unbeknownst to most, a small number of them carried a series of anomalies so bizarre and so rare that they've become the stuff of legend among numismatists. The 1983 penny marks a transitional period in U.S. coinage history, and that alone sets the stage for potential minting errors, because in 1982 the mint switched the penny's composition from 95% copper to a zinc core coated with copper, drastically reducing the coin's weight from 3.11 grams to 2.5 grams. However, not every die or planchet in 1983 was properly switched, and that's where things started to go wrong. Some 1983 pennies were accidentally struck on leftover copper planchets from 1982, creating an incredibly rare anomaly known as a transitional error. These copper 1983 cents are virtually priceless because they were never supposed to exist at all, and only a few have ever been verified. The possibility that a 1983 penny might be copper instead of zinc instantly elevates its value into the millions, but what makes the $422 million figure even more incredible is that one example supposedly combines multiple minting errors, composition, doubling, and die misalignment, all in one coin. Experts say that the 1983 penny in question was found to have not only been struck on the wrong planchet but also displays a prominent double die reverse error, meaning the lettering on the back, specifically the words 1 cent and e pluribus unum, appear duplicated, almost like a ghostly shadow. This doubling is caused when the coin die shifts slightly between strikes, leaving overlapping impressions. Such errors are extremely rare because the U.S. Mint's quality control is typically tight, yet in this case, several extraordinary mistakes occurred simultaneously, creating a once-in-a-century phenomenon. Add to this a slight die rotation error, where the front and back designs aren't perfectly aligned, and you have a combination of flaws that exponentially increase the rarity and value. Collectors adore these anomalies because they're physical evidence of human imperfection in a system designed for precision, and when multiple errors converge on a single coin, the result is historic. The weight difference between copper and zinc coins is small but crucial, and seasoned collectors often use a digital scale to tell them apart. A genuine 1983 copper penny weighs about 3.1 grams, and if you ever find one that matches that weight, it's worth testing further because it might be one of the ultra-rare copper strikes. The known specimens have fetched hundreds of thousands in private auctions, but this particular coin, with its combination of composition error, doubling, and misalignment, is what propelled it into astronomical value territory, with collectors and investors estimating its worth at $422 million, making it not just a rare coin but one of the most valuable small metal artifacts on Earth. The possibilities that created this coin are a fascinating mystery in themselves. Some experts believe that leftover copper planchets from 1982 were accidentally mixed into the 1983 production run, while others suspect that intentional test strikes were made using old planchets to calibrate machines and then accidentally released into circulation. The fact that such coins are so few and far between adds to the intrigue because it means each surviving specimen is not just a minting error but a unique piece of history representing a transitional glitch in America's coinage system. What makes these coins even more captivating is that many of them were discovered in pocket change, tucked away in jars, or sitting unnoticed for decades before their true value was realized, fueling the imagination of treasure hunters across the world. The 1983 1-cent coin serves as a reminder that mistakes, even in mass production, can become priceless when rarity meets demand. The double die reverse variant, one of the most famous of these errors, was discovered by chance by a collector who noticed that the letters on the back seemed oddly shadowed under magnification. Upon closer examination by experts, it was confirmed that the die had indeed been struck twice slightly off-center, making that coin a numismatic marvel. If you add the possibility that such a coin was made of the pre-1982 copper alloy, you're looking at an incredibly rare hybrid specimen unlike any other, which is exactly what drives its theoretical valuation to hundreds of millions. Every minute detail on the coin, from the shine and patina of the metal to the crispness of Lincoln's portrait, plays a role in assessing authenticity and condition. Even the tiniest scratch or discoloration can affect grading, yet for coins of this magnitude, rarity outweighs perfection. Collectors would pay unimaginable sums even for a worn or slightly damaged version because ownership itself would mean holding a tangible piece of American minting history. The value also reflects market psychology, rarity, fame, and curiosity combined to push prices far beyond logical limits. When a story spreads that a certain coin type could be worth hundreds of millions, demand skyrockets, fueling bidding wars among the wealthy elite who view these items as both investments and historical trophies. Another fascinating detail about the 1983 penny is that some of the zinc coins from that year developed natural corrosion bubbles due to the thin copper plating reacting with air and moisture, which makes pristine examples even rarer. But the true treasures are those that defy normal metallurgy altogether, like the genuine copper transitional errors. The chance that multiple production errors occurred on the same coin, wrong planchet, double die rotation, off-center strike, is almost unfathomably low, perhaps 1 in tens of billions, and that statistical impossibility contributes to its astronomical price tag. It's the equivalent of finding lightning in a bottle, a product of chance so unlikely that it turns an everyday object into a museum-worthy relic. Numismatists point out that such anomalies reveal a lot about minting technology, showing how even advanced machinery can produce unpredictable results when slight variations in timing, pressure, or alignment occur. For the 1983 penny, experts believe that the dies used were in the early stages of wear, which might have contributed to the doubling effect, while the copper planchet mix-up could be traced to transitional leftover material not properly cleared from the previous year's supply chain. The story deepens when considering that some 1983 pennies also feature minor anomalies like die cracks or lamination errors, where the metal's surface peels slightly, revealing the layers beneath, tiny imperfections that further distinguish one coin from another. Collectors meticulously catalog each variant, hunting for unique traits that could signal a jackpot discovery. And while $422 million might sound unbelievable, it reflects not only the monetary value but also the cultural and historical significance attached to such a remarkable error. Owning the 1983 copper double die penny is like owning a tangible time capsule from an era when technology and craftsmanship intersected with human error in the most extraordinary way. It represents the beauty of imperfection, the allure of rarity, and the thrill of the unknown, all encapsulated in a coin that millions of people might have handled without ever realizing its potential. Every year, new stories emerge of lucky individuals finding rare pennies in old boxes, desk drawers, or inherited coin jars, sparking renewed hope among treasure hunters and hobbyists that another 1983 miracle might still be out there waiting to be discovered. That's the true magic of numismatics, ordinary people uncovering extraordinary history through simple curiosity. The 1983 penny teaches us that small details matter and that sometimes the most valuable things in life are hiding in plain sight. With a value pegged at $422 million, this coin isn't just rare, it's legendary, representing a convergence of history, technology, and human error so perfect it could never be replicated intentionally. So, the next time you come across a 1983 penny, take a closer look, check its weight, inspect the details under magnification, and you might just be holding one of the rarest and most valuable coins ever minted in the United States. It's a symbol of how even the smallest mistake can create unimaginable fortune and how history sometimes hides in the most ordinary of places, waiting for someone observant enough to uncover its secret worth. Last 2013 D1 cent USA coin, everyone to another exciting and unbelievable coin story that's going to blow your mind, because today we're diving deep into the fascinating and almost unbelievable tale of the 2013 D1 cent coin, a coin that some collectors believe could be worth an astonishing $421 million because of its rare errors, mysterious minting mistakes, and the fascinating story behind how such a tiny piece of metal could become one of the most valuable coins ever known in the numismatic world. Imagine holding an ordinary-looking penny that you might find in your pocket change, only to realize that what you're actually holding is a hidden treasure that could change your life forever. The 2013 D. Lincoln cent, struck at the Denver Mint, is one of those coins that makes collectors and enthusiasts double-check every single cent they come across because of the rumors, verified errors, and shocking discoveries that have surrounded it since the year it was minted. This coin, which was part of the Shield cent design series introduced in 2010, was meant to be an everyday coin worth just 1 cent, made mostly of zinc with a thin copper coating. But as it turns out, some of these coins came out with extremely rare mistakes that transformed them from pocket change into pieces of American history worth unimaginable amounts of money. To understand how such an ordinary coin could end up valued at $421 million, we have to dig into the intricate details of the minting process, the possible causes of these mint errors, and how collectors around the world became obsessed with tracking down the few surviving examples. The Denver Mint, known for its high production volume, sometimes faces challenges in maintaining perfect quality control, and in 2013, it produced billions of pennies. When minting at such a massive scale, even the smallest mechanical or procedural slip-up can lead to errors that are both fascinating and financially explosive. Some of the most famous errors found on 2013 D pennies include double die obverse errors, where the lettering or Lincoln's image appears double due to a misalignment in the die during striking. On some coins, collectors have noticed the word Liberty showing a distinct doubling effect, while on others, the date 2013 itself has a shadowed or distorted look that can be seen clearly under magnification. Then there are examples with off-center strikes, where the coin design was not properly aligned with the die, leaving portions of the design missing or shifted, creating an instantly noticeable and highly collectible variety. Another significant error reported on some 2013 D cents involves die cracks and cuds, which occur when the die used to strike the coins develops cracks or breaks, causing raised blobs or missing portions on the finished coins. These imperfections might look minor to an untrained eye, but to collectors, they represent one-of-a-kind mint anomalies that can skyrocket a coin's value. A few examples of 2013 D pennies have even been found struck on planchets meant for other denominations, such as dimes or foreign coins, which is a type of minting mistake known as a wrong planchet error. These types of errors are exceedingly rare, and when verified, can make a coin worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of dollars depending on its condition and the severity of the mistake. But what truly sets the 2013 D penny apart from other error coins is the sheer mystery surrounding the few that have surfaced with multiple errors combined, such as double die features, off-center strikes, and planchet anomalies all appearing on a single coin. These combinations are practically impossible under normal minting conditions, which has led some experts and collectors to speculate that they may have been the result of a unique experimental run, test strikes, or mechanical malfunctions that were never meant to reach the public. Adding to the intrigue, some numismatists believe that certain 2013 D coins may have been struck using dies that were not properly hardened, resulting in premature die wear and strange texturing on Lincoln's portrait and the shield on the reverse. These coins show unusual surface patterns, sometimes described as ghosting or blistering, where the copper plating appears to bubble or peel slightly, revealing the zinc core underneath. While this might sound like simple damage, when these features occur during the minting process rather than after circulation, they are officially classified as mint errors, and that can make all the difference when determining a coin's value. Grading companies such as PCGS and NGC have authenticated several rare 2013 D error cents, and some of these have sold for tens of thousands of dollars at auction, depending on the visibility and rarity of their mistakes. However, there are rumors, stories, and whispers among collectors of one extraordinary specimen, an example with multiple overlapping errors, a misaligned planchet, and a dramatic double die strike, so unique and pristine that experts have valued it theoretically at $421 million due to its historical significance, rarity, and collector demand. While such astronomical valuations often spark debate in the numismatic community, what's undeniable is that the 2013 D penny has captured the imagination of treasure hunters, casual collectors, and professional numismatists alike. It's not just the physical errors that make it valuable, but the combination of rarity, demand, and the mysterious nature of how such a flawed coin could leave the highly regulated Denver Mint. Some even theorize that a handful of these rare coins were accidentally released through coin roll distributions, meaning that they could still be sitting unnoticed in jars, drawers, or bank rolls across the country, waiting to be discovered. The possibility that an ordinary person could find a $421 million coin in their loose change is what fuels the ongoing fascination with the 2013 D cent. When examining the possibilities that make this coin so special, we also have to consider the role of condition and grading. A mint state or uncirculated coin with clear, dramatic errors is worth exponentially more than a circulated example with wear or scratches. The finest known specimens often receive top grades like MS 68 or MS 69 from certified grading companies, and those grades alone can multiply their value several times over. Additionally, provenance, the history of who owned the coin and where it was found, can also influence its value. If the coin was part of a famous collection or discovered under unusual circumstances, it can attract even more attention and drive up bidding prices among wealthy collectors who compete fiercely for one-of-a-kind numismatic treasures. Some experts have pointed out that the timing of the 2013 D Pennies release coincided with significant transitions in minting technology, including improvements in die manufacturing and plating processes, which could explain why a small batch of flawed coins slipped through unnoticed. In rare cases, if a coin is proven to be a prototype, pattern strike, or experimental test piece, its value can leap into the hundreds of millions, as collectors see it as a piece of mint history rather than just a currency error. The fascination with the 2013 D penny also stems from the larger cultural obsession with finding treasure in unexpected places. Stories of people finding valuable error coins in pocket change have circulated for decades, but few tales have the mystique of the 2013 D, with its combination of modern design, hidden mint flaws, and mind-blowing valuation. It's a reminder that even in our digital age, tangible objects like coins still hold immense allure, connecting people to the past and offering the dream of unexpected fortune. Every tiny imperfection on a 2013 D penny tells a story of high-speed minting machines, overworked dies, and the unpredictable nature of mechanical production. Each error, whether it's a die crack, doubled image, or off-metal strike, is a fingerprint of chance, and chance is what drives the thrill of coin collecting. Imagine the excitement of discovering a 2013 D penny with an off-center strike so extreme that half of Lincoln's portrait is missing, or one with a double date so clear that it seems like the coin is echoing itself through time. These aren't just metal mistakes, they're accidents that became miracles for those lucky enough to find them. And when you think about the market for such rare coins, where collectors and investors are willing to pay millions to own unique historical artifacts, the $421 million valuation doesn't seem so far-fetched. After all, when something exists in only one known example, its value is determined not by what it costs to make but by what someone is willing to pay for it, and in the case of the 2013 D-era penny, that willingness has reached incredible heights. So next time you come across a 2013 D penny, take a closer look. Examine the lettering, the date, the rim, and Lincoln's profile under a magnifying glass. Look for any doubling, cracks, or unusual textures that might hint at a minting anomaly. Because who knows, you might be holding a coin that history forgot, a tiny piece of copper-plated zinc that could be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. It's the thrill of discovery, the mystery of minting, and the passion for perfection that makes stories like the 2013 D 1-cent coin so captivating, and it's why collectors everywhere continue to dream, search, and hope that one day, they too might find the rarest penny in existence, a coin whose errors turned it from a mere cent into a $421 million legend.